Okay, Leo, what's up in the dub with Leo in this house? Now, Leo, what you been doing? Have y'all been good? Have y'all been playing? Or have y'all been good? But y'all newcomers, what it do? What it do? What it do? I can't tell you how to sock it to you. Y'all like, share, subscribe, and you just know you cared about in these streets. Keep your head up and be strong. I don't care what's going down, Leo. Now, Leo, we live by faith, not by sight. That's very important. Remember that, Leo. You got to live by faith, not by sight. Because someone here is getting raped in jail over and over again. And they want some help. Somebody's asking for help. Because somebody's getting attacked in jail. Allegedly, somebody's locked up. It says, but Archangel Michael is protecting from harm. Archangel Michael is intervening in their doing protection, giving protection. There's a white man, a lady here, someone named Donald, allegedly. Something about background check is coming. Okay, they're getting a background check on their ass. It says your name. Okay, you turned me on sex. They think that you turned them on. Ugh. It says online looking info and records, and on looking for you behind your back. They searching and watching everything and saying you turned them on and stuff. Hey, I turn you on, but whoever this is, I'll be like, I turn you on, but you ain't gotta be doing all that. Because they wanted to put you allegedly in organized crime. They was doing human trafficking, kids, men, and ladies. So they was trying to do that. That's what they do, allegedly. Somebody with a RW in their name do that. Okay. Somebody could be a Brown, could be their last name, allegedly. Don't know who this is, because this could be anybody. But somebody was trying to do that. Sudden insight on greater purpose. Somebody knows their greater purpose of what they're here to do. Okay, there's a cheater. Somebody is a cheater, allegedly. Somebody been cheating, allegedly. A karmic daughter. Okay, somebody was cheating. This karmic daughter, allegedly. Your kids were doing a lot of DRUGSs. Okay, they were doing a lot of that, allegedly. Here's some names involved in it that they were doing, allegedly. Okay, someone is trying to you. They're trying to take you out. And they want you to know. Because, they want to take you out. They don't want you to make it. I'm not going to say next. It says, I'm going to leave that out too. It says, I tried to leave, but the karma guilt me to stay. No, they didn't. It was in verse. They didn't guilt you to stay, Okay, there's an earth angel here from the past that's involved. It says, devil don't love you. Remember that. The devil don't love you, earth angel. It says, I love for you all that you are, all that you have been, and all that you will be. Okay? You got to know that. It says, why you did this to me. Somebody in the past, but they didn't do that to you. Somebody didn't do something that somebody said they did. Somebody was lying on somebody. Telling lies, that's typical what they do. You never be surprised when people tell lies on you, Leo. You are a cross watcher, somebody that's watching this video. This is just a check-in. What comes out, comes out. This is for what you need to know versus what you got to know. It says somebody lives in New Hampshire, allegedly. Someone pleaded guilty in the past for an M. They did an M in the past. Somebody was trying to block the sun because they didn't want to grow up, just period. This Libra. Somebody didn't want to grow up, okay? Someone could be named Regina, allegedly. This person got something did to their butt, so they had butt surgery, allegedly. They had it. But the evil dead was rising from the grave. It says the ancestors, it's time for an offering. Okay, the stars are not, there's a lot of stars, they're not human. They've been taken to the underworld, and like I said, they switch them and they use them as an energy fire. They use them and they'll keep them in a coma for A lot of these stars, allegedly, they're not alive. They're just not. They're vessels. They've either been possessed or been taken over because they playing that spell work, allegedly. To be a star, you gotta do a lot of things, and a lot of them ain't human. They run around. That's why I said justice and judgment, and they need to get off this planet. That was I said. And I don't care. They need to remove themselves because they're not human. And a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes these children that you see have been stolen children, allegedly, because some of them, they can have children or whatever by that vessel, allegedly. But that vessel, them children allegedly been sacrificed, and they're there. The reason why a lot of them do that, because when they lose a child, they cover their own self because of all the damage that they did, because they had to sacrifice something to get there. You can't be a star allegedly on these streets unless you sacrifice something. You better understand, once you sign that contract, they'll take your child, they'll take everything you own, allegedly, because you signed your soul over to them. A lot of them sold their soul and some of them didn't, but there's some that did to get to the top, and there's the ones that's finna, I call justice and judgment. Somebody used to love green and black. You can't always judge people by their parenting based off what they say. They need to do that. All I'm saying is these children are being taken, and people just don't know. There's people, these people are using them as a power supply, and I call justice for the stars that's not human, allegedly. They're taking children or using children and trafficking them, or have these secret things that's going on in the cities. I hear my prayer in the ethers. It's time for justice and judgment. Free these children that are bound to these people that don't know doggone well where they got them from, and know doggone well that they run around with their suits. Some of these are reptiles, alleged. You can believe me or not. They underworld. They go on underworld when everything strikes. They always call war. People in charge need to check these people out, allegedly, because a lot of them been mind controlled by lizards, and you can believe me if not, that's on you. And all I can say is justice and judgment going down for taking these children. These stars know what I'm talking about, allegedly. Some of them are not what they say they are, and you got to be careful because they will use you. That's what they did. You seen what they did with that one they put up there on that show. And that person sacrificed kids, and they were doing it a lot and covering it up. But see, people don't understand your kids are being done because they have, some of them chosen when Earth ain't star seeds. They need the energy. You see someone having a lot of kids, a lot of these stars use these kids for energy, or some of them are vampires and they have to get the blood transfusion, or they need the blood, allegedly, and they live off these children, allegedly. That's what they're telling me. And I'm saying justice and judgment, because we don't need to be feeding nobody or feeding them to look beautiful or keep their energy source, because a lot of them, you notice they're getting a little pale, and that's a reason. And so if you see somebody with a lot of children, they have to, because they covering themselves, because when these people come, they don't play. You sign that contract, you sign your soul away, and that's just crazy. Somebody named Harry from Old Mexico, it says, I have more than one wife. Somebody thinks you're amazing, but they have more than one wife. You know, somebody wants to know what hell feels like because they know it's going to be tragic. I'm just saying, allegedly, take all this with a grain of salt. You can believe me if you don't. There's people running this world telling us what to do, and they're not what they say they are. And justice and judgment, because Most High is going to clean this up, because we can't keep running the world by us. They're taking over us. And we're here to make change on this planet. But how can we do it when we're always sacrificing your children, or sacrificing you notice how grandpa, grandma, everybody passed away. You thinking they passing away because of old age. You thinking they passed away of illness. These stars know what's up, because some of them sold their soul and they have to commit to it. And if they don't, they will take them out for you because they signed their soul, allegedly. You sign your soul, you sign the deal, you got to do it. You got to do it. I don't care if the person sleep around with whoever. If they tell you got to stay there, they going to make you stay with that person, because they don't like women. And some stars are not just women. They're trans, believe it or not, because they don't like us. You know, and there's somebody with a T, and some people do child molesting case coming up for someone that's named Stewart, allegedly. Like, share, subscribe.